UFC. I am the greatest combat athlete of all time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Tell the Tape. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on today's episode of Tell the Tape, I'm going to be going over some of my nemesis. Should I say frenemies or just enemies? That's right. Flavor Flav, aka Aljamain Sterling, versus, that's right, the homeless lesbian Sean O'Malley. Guys, this fight's about to. We're less than 2 weeks away from these guys fighting each other. Guys, I'm gonna go over their strengths or maybe their weaknesses because I'm still competing. I'm not sure if I want to go that route, but I'm gonna go ahead and give the game plan for Sean O'Malley, and I'm gonna go ahead and give the game plan for Aljamain Sterling. This video wouldn't be possible without, that's right, our sponsors, Kiko. Whenever you guys want to indulge, whenever you guys want all natural ingredient cookies, you guys make sure to go to kiko.com and find a local store near you. Anyhow, guys, enough talk. Let's take it to the big screen. So here we have it, Sean O'Malley versus, Aljamain Sterling. Right now, I want to take a look at these rankings. Aljamain Sterling, obviously, he's got the belt. With Merab being the #1 contender, and Sean O'Malley somehow was able to sneak in due to that fight with Peter Yan. I mean, talk about a great move on his side. And obviously, I'm at #3. And we got Corey, who's probably going to be out for a year, at #4. So I just want to take a look at the actual rankings, these are the official UFC rankings. So nothing but good stuff. Now let's take it to, that's right, the Tell of the Tape. Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley right here. 23-3. I'm actually, Aljamain has quite a bit of fights too. 26 fights. 3 KOs, which has no power in his hands. To 8 submissions versus O'Malley with 11 KOs. He has 1 submission in his game. I'm not sure if he submitted anybody in the UFC, but either way, he has a submission. 5'7" to 5'11". I would have loved to have fought Sean just so everybody can see like the difference in height and what is it that I could actually do. But right now, he's still gonna have a crazy height advantage with a guy like Aljamain Sterling. But then check this out. This is what kind of trips me out. A 71-inch reach. You know what I'm saying? For a guy that's 5'7" to have that reach is pretty good. Either that or Sean O'Malley has a short reach. But whatever it is, the reach of the hands you only give Sean O'Malley just a 1-inch reach advantage. So that could be a lot to the age 34 to 28. But now let's get to the actual strengths of these opponents. Because remember, we all have them, and we also all have weaknesses. Who is Aljamain Sterling? Being in there with him for 25 minutes, he's a freestyle fighter. He's a freestyle fighter. Like, he'll just go, and that's kind of what makes Aljamain a little bit unique, is a simple fact that Aljamain will just freestyle. He'll just create shit. If he sees a kick and he's planning to use hands, he'll end up throwing a knee. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll freestyle, which leads me to he's a better competitor than he is an actual fighter. He knows how to compete. Being in there with him, and particularly, I want to go back to that first round. He stole that. These are things that I typically do, and he did a good job, because if I would have if I was able to kind of hold forth that first round, it would have been a different fight. And he does a really good job of wrestling against the cage and scrambles. There's a lot of things that I regret in that fight, and one of them is typically I like to use leverage rather than having a strong lock. But I think next time around with Aljamain, I'm gonna really secure a lot of things, because you can get away with other fighters when you're able to use leverage, but somebody that looks to be in those sneaky position where he was, I think I had him in a cradle, and I had him there, and I was resting there a little too much because I was actually catching my breather to eventually start kind of looking for something to eventually start striking. But before then, he ended up coming out of the cradle, and this is where I ended up in the split position. Like, he never really took me down off the open. Like, it was everything pretty much off of me, off of scrambling and against the cage. And again, these are things that Triple C's gonna go back and really, pinpoint. And then not least, is he has a win versus Triple C. That's right. But if you guys notice, thanks to good old fathead Derek Cleary, I don't know how I lost the 5th. If it came down to the 5th, I'd be a world champion. I feel like even Aljamain agreed that the 5th was mine. But anyways, whatever. It happens. I got to go back, make those adjustments. But these are some of the strengths that Aljamain Sterling has. He's a freestyle fighter. He's a better competitor than he is an actual fighter. He actually, and another thing that I should probably throw in there, he was actually kind of hard to hit because of his movement. And these are things that Sean O'Malley's gonna have to really have the right training partners, or I hope he had the right training partners in order for him to have the best success of actually beating this dude. He wrestles against the cage and he scrambles. He caught me in that cradle. He was able to pop up, put me in the splits where he was actually able to take me down. And obviously, he has sometimes I don't know what's up with these judges, but whatever. You know, thanks to Derek Cleary, you know, I still plead the fifth, but whatever. And then his weaknesses. You know, I thought about it for a long time, but because I'm still kind of competing, you know, against these guys at a high level, you know, I'm still in the game. I'm not retired. I mean, I can see a lot of things, but I really don't necessarily want to share as of right now because I'm still competing. But I think, you know, if I'm to add one weakness to Aljamain Sterling is you could get to his head, you know, and sometimes he can get into his own head. And if you're able to kind of get the ball rolling and get the ball kind of rolling on your side, something could actually happen. But does Sean O'Malley actually have that capability of making Aljamain fight his B-side? And without further ado, let's get to Krusty the Clown himself. Is it me or does freaking Sean O'Malley look like a homeless lesbian? Like, what's up with all these tattoos, dude? Like, what is this, dude? Like, dude, you're probably whatever, man. He's probably, you know, raised in a freaking gated community. I don't know what's up with them, but whatever. Sean O'Malley's strength, his striking. He does have good striking. You know, with 7.47 significant strikes per minute, first in UFC bantamweight history. But I will add something to this. He's also been set up. He's also been set up by Dana White and the UFC. He's not fighting the actual best, the best of the best. Yeah, he did fight a fight that was very favorable with Peter Yan. I think we could all agree that he actually lost that fight. But whatever it is, like he's been fed a lot of these guys, and this is the difference between the UFC and the actual Olympics. You know, this is why when you win the Olympics, you can really say you're the absolute best in the world. And the UFC, man, they, you know, one lucky strike, they can freaking take you. Look at Alex Pereira. He fought Sean Strickland, fought for the title, became UFC champ. He fought Jan Blachowicz. He fought at light heavyweight. Next, you know, more like he's fighting for the title. What I'm trying to say is, it's the you know, they hand out the red carpets for the guy that they actually really want to market. But anyhow, to get back to Sean O'Malley's strengths, he has good fakes and good feints. Like he knows when is it that he's gonna go. He has a good recognition when he's gonna go. His fakes put him in position to throw or makes him think, and it depends on what the opponent does. This is according to where is it that Sean O'Malley's gonna more likely take a shot, whether he's gonna punch or whether he's gonna kick you. You know, this is something that he does very, very well. This is something where I will applaud him and give him something. You know, it's not just the combinations, guys. It's the entries, and that's one thing that Sean does very, very well. He's got a finish ability, but then again, against who? You know, I don't know who, but he has the ability to finish. 11 out of his 16 wins have been through KO or TKO. You know, if there's one thing that I say that Sean does have going for him, is he's got a lot of practice. But now you're going up against somebody who's going to be a little harder to hit, who's a freestyle fighter, who's not going to stand in front of you, who is more likely going to press you, take you against the cage, and literally take you down. You know, one thing that I will say about Aljo, he does have good cage wrestling. He got me there. You know, he did, and he is good in those scrambles. But I don't see Sean being a threat in those positions. So, you know, I think more likely Aljo's gonna go ahead and fight his his weaknesses. I mentioned it before, and I'll say it here. It's still that lead leg kick, his stance. His distance is good, but his stance of being like this, you can get to it. You can get to Sean O'Malley. He has great distance recognition, but his stance, this leg, chop it. I don't think Sterling's going to do that. I think Sterling's going to go in there and actually wrestle. But that's one thing, I brought it up before, so it's out there. You know, you can easily chew up that leg, and he's standing a little more southpaw. So that means if you can develop different kicks, whether you're gonna go inside or outside, you know, it's there. You know, the other weakness that I will say about Sean O'Malley is his composure. He loses his mind when he's hurt. You can tell. You saw in the Cejudo fight, and you saw in that Peter Yan fight. He'll demonstrate. He'll show it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can tell. Like, that's why I feel like Peter Yan kind of messed up in that fight, is the fact that he was taking him down. You're doing good on your feet. Continue to keep hurting him, kick his legs. But there's certain things that even Yan wasn't doing that he should have done. So technically, even Jan's game is a little off. But whatever. That comes from competition. Yeah, and then the stats. You know, strikes landed per minute, 4.78 to 7.43. Strikes absorbed per minute. You know, this is actually surprising, but I can see why now. You know, there'll be if I do end up fighting Aljamain again, there is a different plan set in place, because I already got kind of like the hit. But I'm also gonna have to be able to adapt to a freestyle fighter, because he will come out with something different. You know, knockdowns, which this is unique right here. This is something that I found very interesting. You know, Sean O'Malley has never been knocked down. He's never been knocked down. That's for some reason I thought Yan did, but apparently he never knocked him down. You know, takedown average, we got to give it to Aljamain. You know, takedown defense, this is surprising. But again, what competitors has this dude fought? He's been getting a bunch of favorable competitors, but it could help him, but it could also hurt him too. Is he ready for that high level of 5 rounds against a guy that's gonna make him fight his B side? And that's the question. So who is it that more likely is going to win? Sean, if I can give you one damn advice, stay in the center. Stay in the center and don't leave the center. Because the more you get outside in these areas, and you allow him to pressure, because he's going to pressure you right away. He did it with me. You know, luckily I was able to get a quick bear hug, which kind of made him respect me a little bit. But for you, he is going to come at you, and he's going to take you in this area. He's going to take you with a black line of the cage. And if you play that area, this dude's going to end up taking you down, taking your back, and end up finishing you. Or it could be a 5-round freaking decision, because this dude, one thing that I will tell you, he doesn't have power. Yeah, he did hit me, but there's nothing real. It's like Dominic Cruz. Like, they don't have that crazy thump. He does. Now, Sean could hit, and if he does crack, he'll crack. He TKOs people. He's not like somebody like Tapora that'll hit you and literally knock you out, but he does have hands, and he is precise. You know, so that's one advice. But looking at the fight as a whole, because I stand in good position with me and Murat. This dude's gonna pretty much, this is exactly what he's gonna do. He's gonna push Sean O'Malley here, wherever. He's gonna push him in the outside. He's gonna control him, whether he finishes him or it's gonna be a 5-round boring ass fight. But Aljamain Sterling is gonna get that job done. His last time supposedly making 135 pounds. I like another crack, but you know, I wouldn't mind going up against his butt plug, you know, and then maybe I can resurrect his ass to come at it. But if I had to pick, who is it that more likely is gonna win? You know, sorry, man. I gotta go against the homeless lesbian Sean O'Malley, and I'm gonna have to go for the clown. That's right, Aljamain Sterling. So again, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C, and you guys just watched this episode of Tell the Tape, because I'm here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A big shout out to our sponsor. That's right, Cookie Co. Whenever you guys want to indulge, whenever you guys really want to just have all natural ingredients cookies, you guys make sure to go to cookieco.com and find the nearest store near you. Triple C is out.